Commander Zalthor stood upon the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his 4 eyes gleaming with contempt as he observed the primitive vessels approaching his armada. The humans had finally arrived, and they had brought exactly what his intelligence had predicted. 12 warships, outdated by Kryn standards, limping through the void like wounded prey. Pathetic, he chittered, his mandibles clicking in amusement. Around him, his officers shared in the derision, their laughter echoing through the command center. The Kryn Empire had conquered 47 star systems in the past century alone. These humans, these newcomers to the galactic stage, would be crushed within the hour. The communication channel crackled to life. A human face appeared on the view screen, weathered, calm, with eyes that held no fear. Admiral Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet. "Commander Zalthor," the human said evenly. "We're here to discuss your withdrawal from the Proxima system. It belongs to neither of us, and we propose a diplomatic solution." Zalthor's laughter was a harsh, grating sound. "You come with 12 ships to negotiate with my fleet of 200? Your audacity is matched only by your foolishness, human. I will give you one chance. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift." Admiral Chen's expression didn't change. "I urge you to reconsider. You don't understand what you're facing, or what I'm facing." Zalthor leaned forward, his massive frame casting shadows across the console. "I see 12 outdated warships crewed by a species that discovered faster-than-light travel merely 3 decades ago. Your metal shells are no match for Kryn plasma cannons. This conversation is over." He gestured to his weapons officer. "Prepare to—" "Commander!" The sensor technician's voice cut through the bridge, high-pitched with alarm. "I'm detecting anomalies. Multiple gravitational signatures emerging from behind the human formation." Zalthor's eyes narrowed. "Explain." The technician's claws danced across the console, his expression shifting from confusion to disbelief. "Sir, I'm reading mass displacements. Hundreds of them. They're ships, Commander. Ships decloaking behind the human vanguard." The bridge fell silent. Zalthor felt his primary heart skip a beat as the sensor display populated with contacts. 100, 200, 300. The numbers continued climbing. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Our intelligence showed only 12 ships." "Only 12? Admiral Chen's voice returned, now carrying an edge of steel. "You're correct, Commander. You saw 12 ships. What you failed to consider is what you didn't see." The view screen split, showing the tactical display alongside the Admiral's face. Zalthor watched in growing horror as the human fleet materialized from nothing. The vessels were unlike anything in the Kryn database. Sleek, angular, bristling with weapons arrays that hummed with barely contained energy. They moved with predatory precision, forming a crescent formation that began to envelope his armada. 512 ships, to be precise, Admiral Chen continued. "You see, Commander, humans learned something important during our first century in space. Never show your full hand until you're ready to play it." Zalthor's communications officer looked up, terror evident in his trembling antennae. "Commander, I'm receiving messages from the other sector fleets. They're reporting similar contacts. The humans have forces emerging across all 7 systems we claimed." "All 7? Zalthor's voice was barely a whisper. "Humanity has been watching you, Commander," Admiral Chen said. "We studied your expansion patterns, your tactics, your arrogance. We knew you'd come for Proxima. We knew you'd bring your main fleet. And we knew you'd underestimate us because we're young, because we're new to this cosmic stage." The tactical officer's voice cracked as he spoke. "Sir, preliminary scans of the human vessels show weapon systems operating on principles our scientists haven't even theorized. Their power signatures are off the scale, and their shields—" He paused, checking his readings again. "Their shields are adapting to our scanning frequencies in real time." Zalthor felt something he hadn't experienced in his 40 years of military service. Fear. Pure primal fear. "You wanted to know what you're facing?" Admiral Chen leaned forward, and for the first time Zalthor saw the warrior beneath the diplomat. "You're facing a species that went from wooden ships to spacecraft in less than 500 years. A species that split the atom before we left our own planet. A species that has fought and survived 10,000 wars against ourselves, learning from every single one." The human admiral paused, letting his words sink in. "We didn't join the galactic community to conquer, Commander. We came to learn, to trade, to coexist. But we also came prepared. Because humanity's greatest lesson, written in blood across our entire history, is this: Hope for peace, but prepare for war. Zalthor looked at his tactical display. His 200 ships, once a fearsome armada, now appeared as small red dots surrounded by a sea of blue contacts. Every escape vector was blocked. Every strategic position compromised. The humans had turned his ambush into a trap. "We're outnumbered 3-1, his tactical officer stated unnecessarily. "What are your terms?" Zalthor asked, his pride crumbling like ancient stone. "Immediate withdrawal from all 7 systems. A formal treaty recognizing the sovereignty of neutral zones. Reparations for the colonies you displaced. And a promise, one that we will verify, that the Kryn Empire will think twice before assuming humanity as an easy target." Zalthor closed all 4 eyes. In his mind, he saw his career ending, his legacy tarnished. But he also saw his crew surviving, his ships returning home. Sometimes survival was its own victory. "Agreed," he said quietly. Admiral Chen nodded. "Wise choice, Commander. The treaty documents are being transmitted now. Once signed and verified, you have 72 hours to clear these systems." As the communication ended, Zalthor slumped in his command chair. His officers avoided his gaze, busy with their consoles, initiating the retreat protocols. "Commander," his second-in-command ventured carefully, "how did our intelligence fail so catastrophically?" Zalthor stared at the view screen, watching the human fleet maintain its perfect formation. 512 ships that had appeared from nowhere. A force so vast it rewrote every assumption the Kryn had made about this young species. "They didn't fail," he replied. "The humans simply showed us what they wanted us to see. 12 ships, a test to see if we'd choose wisdom or war." His mandibles clicked in bitter recognition. "We chose war, and they showed us why that was a mistake we'd only get to make once." As the Eternal Dominion began its long retreat, Zalthor learned what the rest of the galaxy would soon discover. Humanity had arrived among the stars not as conquerors or victims, but as a force that had learned to hide its fangs behind a smile, until the moment those fangs became necessary. The Kryn had laughed at 12 ships. They would never make that mistake again.